Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole, Monday morning, August 31st, moving into week 3 of Con Law, Political Science 3753 for the fall 2020 term. Everybody, we will chat tomorrow evening, Tuesday the 1st at 7:45 p.m. for 45 minutes before we take quiz 2 on Wednesday the 2nd. Now, we're moving into some material about executive power. We're really just getting started on the substance of constitutional law. We're taking a look at the material in class notes for lectures 6, 7, and 8 that are up in the content area of the course website over executive power. Now, there are any number of issues that come up in those class notes, including impeachment, the power of the president in foreign policy and international relations, and also some issues that arise when the president becomes the subject of a legal proceeding, or is the object of a lawsuit, or is asked for evidence or testimony in a lawsuit. And there have been several cases involving those issues, including some that were decided just a few weeks ago involving President Trump and some attempts to subpoena his tax returns. Now, we will chat then tomorrow evening the 1st and take quiz number 2 on Wednesday the 2nd. Now, you're asked to look at excerpts in your textbook from the Korematsu case and the steel seizure case. The Korematsu case comes from World War II, of course. The steel seizure case comes from the Korean War. Now, one theme is that executive power, presidential power, is gradually expanding and has been for some time at the expense of Congress, especially in the area of national security and international relations. We often say that the president is the commander-in-chief, but Congress has the power to declare war. Much of that war power, though, arguably has been usurped by the president, especially in the post-World War II era. Now, the Korematsu case involves the so-called Japanese exclusion policy during World War II. It was felt that Japanese Americans represented a security risk and were placed in internment camps on the Pacific coast. About 150,000 of them, I believe, during World War II. During the Reagan administration, an apology was issued and reparations were paid to those still surviving from that incident involving Japanese Americans being placed in internment camps. In a 2018 decision in the case of Trump versus Hawaii, the Supreme Court formally overturned the Korematsu decision. At the time, in the 1940s, under wartime pressure, I suppose you could say, the Supreme Court signed off on what the government wanted to do with regard to Japanese exclusion, not without some dissent. So you have 3 opinions from the Supreme Court, excerpts from those opinions in your textbook that we'll ask you to look at. Now, the steel seizure case was under President Truman during the Korean War. There was a strike threatened against the steel industry. President Truman felt that if the steel industry went on strike, this might endanger the war effort. And so he ordered the Secretary of Commerce to seize the steel mills and operate them in the name of the United States government. The Supreme Court blocked this. They did not sign off on the steel seizure. The president was not able to seize the steel mills, once again, not without dissent. Now, you have 3 opinions excerpted in your textbook, a majority opinion and a dissent. There's an opinion by Justice Robert Jackson that I believe concurs in part and dissents in part. A very lengthy opinion that is considered important, lays down some important doctrines in constitutional law. I will ask you to read through that on your own time. I will not test you on that opinion on the quiz. Okay, there are 2 other opinions other than the one by Justice Robert Jackson. Okay. So I'll test you on those two opinions from the steel seizure case on the quiz. Okay. All right, so in addition to that, you have a link to an article from the New York Times involving so-called presidential emergency documents. It is believed there are dozens of these that have already been drafted on file that the president could invoke and issue in an emergency. It's unclear exactly what's in those documents. A good example of the issue of expansion of presidential power in the post-World War II period. So take a look at that. It's from the New York Times. There's a link to that article that you should find in the announcement that went out, giving you the assignment for quiz 2. So be sure to look at that, along with the 2 Supreme Court cases that are excerpted in your textbook. So you have a New York Times article, plus excerpts from your textbook of the Korematsu and steel seizure case decisions. So we will try to chat about that for 45 minutes tomorrow evening, beginning at 7:45. And then quiz 2 will be available to you for 24 hours. 10 true-false items about that material, the 1 article and the 2 cases, beginning at midnight Tuesday the 1st through midnight Tuesday the 2nd. You can take it anytime during those 24 hours. So good luck on that, and we will look forward to chatting with you tomorrow evening, Tuesday the 1st, for 45 minutes, beginning at 7:45 p.m. Take it easy.